What's up, Solar Warriors? Today is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. My name is Jarrett McAllister, the virtual Solar Pro, and this is Tuesday Training. If you're watching the recording on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your fellow solarpreneurs. They're going to want to hear about the best financing option in the solar industry. I am co-hosted with my man, Tommy Cotter. Are you in Kansas City? Are you back in
I
the States?
am back. I just got back into town. So yeah, I'm just south of Kansas City, out in the country. Probably
Out.
a little similar to your neck of the woods. Just not too many people around.
That's it. Everybody thinks I live out in the middle of the sticks. I live in a nice, beautiful Leave It to Beaver neighborhood,
Okay.
surrounded by pine trees and lakes, and it's absolutely gorgeous. In fact, one of these days, Jeff, our guest today, is going to come out and visit. We're gonna do a little fishing, a little hunting, a
That
little
sounds right.
whiskey sipping, whatever it is. But hey, you guys, let's kick this off like we do every single week. Let's hear some success stories. So if you've had some success over the past week in your solar business, we'd like to hear from you. Raise your hand, drop it in the chat. Don't be shy. I don't care what it is. But we'd like to hear a couple of them. Right off the bat, I will tell you while you guys are getting your stories ready. One success story that we will share as a team is our fearless leader, Jonathan Bernasso, is down there with Powur and the top 30 warriors, help building a home paired up with Prosperity Homes for a very fortunate family. They're building a home from the ground up. These are the Summer Warrior Contest winners. It's an incredible work hard, play hard, impact journey. And that's what we do here at Powur. So they are there. I think they're having a mastermind right now, thinking of ways to where you guys can make more money, do it your way, build your business in solar. So incredible stuff. Shout out to Jonathan and the crew. I know Jonathan Charles Wilson's down there, a few others. So with that said, Andre, did you have your hand raised?
Yes. One success for me that happened this past weekend was can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, loud and
Cool.
clear, brother.
One success that happened for me this past weekend was me and my solar ambassador went. Also, one of my best friends went to go hang out, and he brought a buddy of his, and we all started connecting, getting to know each other. Turns out he's a homeowner, and his electric bill is pretty high. It's like at $350 to $400 in San Diego. And he was basically asking us about solar for like the next 45 minutes to an hour. And right now he's sending us over his electric bill.
Love it. Love it. Great job, man. And that just goes to not being a secret agent. Talk about what you do everywhere you go with everyone you see. That's how it works. That's how I got my career started. I was just relentless with telling everybody that I did solar for a living. $350 to $400 a month in San Diego. I'm guessing he has like an 800 square foot apartment. I mean, like the electrical rates in San Diego are some of, if not the most expensive in the country. I think they're like number 2 right behind Hawaii.
Yeah.
Last I
Yeah.
checked, around like 61 cents a kilowatt hour. And
Yeah,
that, I don't even think
they're
that
in the
was peak,
50s.
right?
They're definitely in the 50s, and some of the time of use is really high.
Like near $1
Mm-hmm.
in time of use, peak time. I mean, that's the savings are unreal. I mean, solar, typically always makes sense. Obviously, it's got to be viable, but it's impossible to not make the numbers work in San Diego, and especially when you can give them killer financing options from Sungage Financial. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. Look, let's actually kind of just jump right into it. Andre, I appreciate you sharing that, unless somebody else has something else they'd like to share, but it is an important day, and I know a lot of you guys want to get out there and place your vote, make your voice heard as you should. So let's just jump into it. Tom, do you have a quote for us today? And then let's highlight some events and then just jump right into it, shall we?
Yeah, we got some good stuff coming up. But if you have not read anything from Jeffrey Gitomer, GIT is how he starts spelling his last name. He's got the Sales Bible and a bunch of other books that are out. I've got a quote from his book called The Little Gold Book of Yes. Attitude, how to find, build, and keep a yes attitude for a lifetime of success. He's got this quote in there that I thought was really good. He says, attitude drives actions. Actions drive results. Results drive lifestyles. If you don't like your lifestyle, look at your results. If you don't like your results, look at your actions. If you don't like your actions, look at your attitude. If you don't like your attitude, look at your philosophy. So he writes, if you have a philosophy of service to others, and if you have a positive attitude, then you can begin to become successful and can begin to take success actions. He continues to write, successful people do what unsuccessful people don't or won't do. Successful people live outside their comfort zone. Successful people hang around money or things that make money. Successful people are consistent. They'll be there next year. Successful people stay in the fire. Successful people know how to access information, and successful people are always learning. So I thought that was just a good reminder about how we position ourselves with our attitude, our schedules, and really who we're hanging out with. I spent this last weekend in Wichita, Kansas. So I went from London, flew to Rome. From Rome, I took a ship to Orlando, and then flew to Wichita to meet up with this group of around 125 people. So I spent the weekend with them at the Hyatt in Wichita, and it was all about actually traveling on points. So it was like a travel hacking meetup for stuff that, people don't want to share online and get ruined by larger groups of people. But it was super interesting to me, just how some of these people think. And one of the guys there shared with me that he had paid for his $90,000 pool at his house by using bank offers. You sign up for a new account for a bank and get like a $500 bonus. He had converted some of his credit card points to cash, but he did that over like 8 or 9 months. $90,000 is what he earned by doing that. And I was just amazed at how like dedicated and like thoughtful a lot of these people were about earning credit card points and traveling. And I was thinking, wow, we just need to get a little bit more of that in the solar industry, a little bit more thoughtfulness and determination and goals. And it was a good chance for me to network with some of those people. So anyways, back to you, Jarrett.
Oh man, I love that. Dude, you guys, attitude is everything. It all starts internally with a positive mindset, positive mental attitude, taking that everywhere you go. Negativity will get you nowhere. But as long as you could start off with a positive attitude and a can-do attitude, and how do I make this, rather than saying, I can't do that, it's how can I do this, right? It's just these little shifts, these little tweaks. It'll definitely attribute to your success, man. So thank you for sharing that, Tom. And if you get a chance, I know you're probably already working on it, dropping that Amazon link to that book so everybody can pick it up and read it on their own time. That would be fantastic. All right. With that said, there are some events that we would like to highlight before we get to our speaker this week. Tom, what do we got here? So definitely we want to promote the Sales Success Lounge, which is popping, which is cool, man. What is it? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I went to this last week. It's kind of a pop in, pop out type of thing where you're getting help on pre-sales projects, designs, questions. It's not meant for post sales. There's tickets and huddles and all those kind of things to help with that. But yeah, Rachel is there, and she had some of her team there as well. So it was like 3 Powur, team members that were there to help people. So I highly recommend that you add that to your calendar and show up, even if you don't have a question, if you are a tier 2, tier 3 enterprise, if you just have it in the background and listen to other people's questions and responses, you'll definitely learn a lot of stuff, right? It's a good
For
resource
sure.
for us.
For sure. I mean, just being in that environment and constantly hearing problem solving and solutions, it's going to make you better and better. That's awesome. And it's super chill, right? It's not like it's not format, like come on in, get your questions
Yeah.
answered,
Yeah.
listen to others. We help each other out. Shout out to Rachel. She actually did like my first virtual presentation ever. I've learned so much from her. She is an OG in the industry. When I first got here, I actually drove from Sacramento up to Chico just to meet her because I was so dedicated to wanting to learn my craft. And so, yeah, she knows it all. There's really no one better out there. So very cool. And then a couple others you want to highlight, Tom?
Yeah, the other one was, we've got a huge event this Saturday, November 9th from, the virtual Powur Day is 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. You can look at the Powur calendar and see when it is, but there's local events as well. But virtual Powur Day, we're going to be having big announcements. You definitely want to be a part of that. Some of the things from Powur World in Orlando in September got held over to announce this Saturday at virtual Powur Day. So definitely you can use this not just to up-level your own knowledge and get better training yourself, but to also use this for recruiting. So you can invite seller and enterprise prospects to this so that they can get a taste of what Powur is like and hear some of the exciting things that we're launching and also working on.
Cool. Love it. Get yourselves there. Go to powurcalendar.com, Powur calendar.com for all of these events. Sign up, links, be able to join. And yeah, man, be a part of this movement. All right. With that said, I am super excited to introduce you to today's guest. This man has been part of Sungage Financial and Powur for a couple years now. The relationship that we have forged with Powur, and in my opinion, the best solar financing company in the industry, and it's not even close, actually. I'm just going to highlight a few things. I mean, since when I got into this industry, it was the financing age, right? Leases, PPAs wasn't really a thing. Interest rate money was so cheap. We had cheap money. It was so great. Hopefully we get back to cheap money. But interest rates were low. We were doing the financing. Interest rates spiked. Companies like Sunlight Financial, Loan Pal, which became Good Leap, rates went off the hook. Dealer fees were crazy. But then some of them got into trouble, as you guys know, like Sunlight not doing so good. Make sure to use up those points. But then all of a sudden, this white knight in the financing industry came in to Powur, Sungage Financial, with really, I mean, at the time, they were reasonable dealer fees, not these astronomical ones, and fair interest rates with a smooth process and a high qualification rate. I said, who are these guys? Ran into Jeff and Matt at Powur World a couple Powur Worlds ago. They lined us up with old fashions. They treated us out to dinner. Really, really, really solid, good guys, an amazing company. And I'm happy to have my man, Jeff Fontaine, on here. Jeff, what's up, bro?
Hey, how we doing?
Oh,
Thanks for having us.
living the dream.
Right on. I'm trying to share my screen, so hopefully you guys can see that.
Yes.
Good to go? Awesome.
Good to go.
Well, thanks for having me, Jared. Appreciate it, and Tom, very much so. Always good to see you guys. And I figure I'll give a kind of quick overview of the product, some of the key highlights, give some insights into what we're seeing out there, and have a little bit of data to share relative to Powur performance with us, what we're seeing that's good. So we'll run through all that. You guys kind of know the standard, I would hope, at this point of how our loan works. You have the 18-month deferral on the tax credits. The one differentiator with us is if you happen to be in a market where there's additional state incentives, whether that be on the solar portion, battery, tax credits at the state level. We will also build that into the deferral, so you get to start with a lower monthly payment. I believe there's 14 different markets in the US that have additional incentives. You guys are in a bunch of those. So take advantage of that when you can. It certainly makes selling this product a differentiator, coupled with Powur's great stuff. So take advantage of that. First payment for your customers, always do 60 days after the install. 18th month deferral starts then as well. We have gotten some questions recently. So just to clarify, during that 18-month period, any extra money that a customer were to put towards their loan then will not go through or go towards reimbursing that deferment. It would go right to the principal. So if you have a customer that says, hey, like, I'm going to get some of this money, I'd like to throw it towards the deferral portion, they can absolutely do that, but it does need to be initiated with a call, and they need to let us know that. So they just throw some extra cash into their monthly payment. It's going to go towards the principal during that first 18 months. Post 18 months, we offer unlimited reamortizations. The first one being at 18 months, where a customer can decide to put all of the deferral money back in, some of it, keep it all. They can put more than the deferral to lower their monthly payment, whatever they want. And then after that, there's a minimum of 2,500 if they'd like to reamortize, but they can do it as many times as they want throughout the term of the loan. So
Guys, can I just cut in really quick? I can't tell you how huge of a selling point that is. The competitors out there, they let you do one ream, right? And then it's done. And then you're locked in until you pay the thing off. Sungage is like, yeah, you got a bonus at work, you got another tax credit, like throw it down. I mean, when you do financing, the whole purpose of doing financing is to pay off the system, ownership, right? So the fact that they're not locking you in and screwing you over and making you pay these, this high payment and allowing you to ream it as many times as you want, huge selling point. Sorry, Jeff, I just had to throw that in there.
no, it's I definitely will reiterate that. And it's kind of amazing, when we decided to do this, I thought it was just going to be kind of one of those, oh, it's a flashy point to make. But the reality is we do a ton of these, way more than I would have thought. And we do a lot in the beginning of the year, which tells me for those people that you think might not be a great option for ownership because they don't have a ton of tax liability, but they're going to be able to claim those tax credits over 4 or 5 years, they'll keep having the ability to lower that monthly payment. So it gives access to people who maybe otherwise you would think, oh, they need a different product. So can't stress that enough. And then throughout the term of their loan, if they do want to make like a little bit of an extra payment every month, plenty of people put like $50 extra. That's all good. In those cases, it works exactly like a mortgage, where that money will get applied directly to the principal, and ultimately you will shorten your term.
Right. Love it.
Yep. All right. So price per watt, we're a little different. I always point this out because we get some questions on it, and it's always a touchy subject, but our price per watt cap is $6.25, and that is on just the cash cost of solar. So we back out if you have a roof, if you have batteries in there, if there's some site prep, a main panel upgrade, all of that comes out before we ever calculate the price per watt. So if you looked at it like the way everyone else calculates it, we're probably at $10 to $11 a watt in their world. And the other nice feature that we have is our cap is not a hard cap. So if you go to build out a project, it's over the price per watt cap, we are still going to let you get that approval. We're always going to reach out to you directly as a sales rep and just kind of ask, hey, what's going on with this project? You guys tell us like, it's a little tough. We got some extra stuff going on in there. And 99 out of 100 times, we're going to give you guys the approval and the exception to move forward. We kind of believe in the whole partnership idea, and we understand that every project is not the same. So there's always going to be the outliers that kind of need a little bit of extra, and we're kind of happy to bend the rules when we need to for that. Credit requirements. I know Jared was saying earlier that we approve a lot of projects. That is certainly more and more true every day. We changed our underwriting in June to loosen it in a time where everybody is actually tightening their credit box. And so we've had a ton of success over the last few months with our approval rates being very high. Now we have no debt to income over 700, which is great. And it's kind of a sliding scale from 640. But today we're holding true to this. 87% of applications over 660 are approved. It's something like 95% over 700. The toughest box is always going to be that 640 to 660 because people happen to be kind of falling in one of two buckets. Either they're repairing their credit and they're on their way up, which is great. And usually those are the folks who are getting approved, or people are on a massive downslide and they're not paying their mortgage, they're not paying credit cards, things like that. And that's where you see a lot of denials at that level. So again, here this highlights kind of all of the stuff I just said. And another important thing too, you see at the bottom there, the STIP rate. That is talking about proof of income. We were previously at 8%. To be honest with you, at the beginning of the year it was more like 13%. We're all the way down to 4% at this point, which is great. So most of the applications are just clean approvals. We're not asking them for pay stubs or anything, but the few that we will, you're going to be asked for either 2 consecutive pay stubs just so you can set expectations with a customer, or if they happen to be a 1099 or self-employed, we'll ask for their previous year's tax docs. So those would be the 2 things we're looking for.
And what triggers that, just so we can be aware?
Yep, it's going to be
Give
a
our
couple
homeowners a
things.
heads up.
So there are a couple requirements that you probably don't hear about or see with us, but minimum income that someone needs to apply is $17,500 in a year. If someone's really close to that, let's say they put on their application, they make 20 grand, they're probably going to get asked to prove that. The other piece will be customer needs to make 60% in a calendar year of what their total loan is. So if someone's taking out a $100,000 loan, we want them to make $60,000 a year. There's exceptions to that, but they want to be close, and they're going to want to make sure if they're right on that line that that's true. So those are mostly the scenarios you'll see where we're looking for that. And typically, on a majority of STIPs are going to be on people too with lower credit scores and higher debt to income. So if your debt to income is right on the threshold there, if you're a 680 and you have 65% debt to income, they're going to want to verify that you're making the money you said. It's also a great opportunity where you can add co-applicants. And so adding more income always helps. That avenue is always open, and the co-applicant just needs to live in the home. They don't need to be on the deed. We're about 2 months away from a new issuing bank. So today, if you guys have ever seen our loan documents, they all say NBT, which is the bank that issues all of our loans, even though they don't hold the paper. We're moving to a new issuing bank in hopefully January. And they're going to allow us to move to a household income type of structure, which will be even easier. So you won't even need to put a co-applicant on. We can count all of that income as one. So we're excited about that, along with some other enhancements that'll come with having a new bank as well. So popular rates, and I have some data on this too. We're still seeing a ton of 20 and 25 year. I would say it's either no fee stuff or as low as you can go is typically what we see. But we do offer a ton of different rates and terms, something like 45. So I would say if you're looking to differentiate out there and everyone's offering the same thing and you have a product that might fit your customer better, it's worth taking a peek at all the other stuff we have. It's priced really competitively. I think you guys will notice most of our rates are going to be cheaper than our competitors. We're trying to balance being super reasonable on fees as well as having an open credit box that we can get more people in the door. So that's kind of where we focus our balance on. Again, we're always a soft credit pull. It never turns into a hard pull. So it's kind of no harm, no foul if you run someone through Sungage. It's not going to ding them. Again, you can put those additional state incentives in there. The other thing that's cool with us is if you do have a customer that's putting a down payment, someone decides it's a $50,000 project, they want to put $10,000 down. So really they're borrowing 40,000 from us. We're still going to defer the tax credit piece for 18 months on the full 50 grand, not just the 40 grand that they're borrowing from us. We're the only lender that does that. So it's just kind of another additional incentive where you can bring that monthly payment down right out of the gate for customers who are putting a down payment down. All right. Get into a little bit of data. This is since we started working together. We've had 3,200 applications, 2,300 approvals, and this was going back to when our underwriting wasn't so great. So you'd actually see a lot more approvals in terms of a ratio to applications nowadays. Average FICO that we've seen overall since the start is 720. Again, our approved income's down to 4%. This cancellation rate, the reason I put this here with a comparison is this is actually crazy impressive to me for a massive company like Powur to have a cancellation rate that low. So if you look at the regional average, that's actually looking at companies that are super small on the tail end of the industry, which tend to have really high pull-through rates just because they're small mom and pop shops. When we look at big companies, I won't name them, but there's some out there that have over a 40% cancellation rate. So you guys are doing incredibly well in terms of getting projects to the finish line, which to me states that you guys are selling them correctly. Your customers are informed, they know what to expect, and you guys get things done in a timely fashion. So kudos to you guys. I thought that was great and thought it was worth pointing out. Here's kind of the mix that we're seeing. So average loan amount's been 45,000, which is great. Median monthly payment across using all the terms is around $237. We're seeing about 2/3 of the projects be solar only, and then the other third are definitely with a roof or a battery included. We do have this battery only, which you guys have not used yet. But at some point, if you guys ever decide as a company to sell batteries alone, we do have an offering for that. Obviously, we're seeing most of the things come through our integration with you guys in Vision. You do have access now as sales reps. Powur, I think, granted that in around August, maybe a little earlier, where you could actually build a project in our portal. This is actually great for scenarios where maybe a customer wants the application emailed to them. You can do that out of our portal. Sometimes it's, credits expired and we need to do a re-app. You can go into the portal and do that very easily there too as well. And then you see over here on the right, this is kind of the breakdown. You can see the vast majority of the loans that we've approved so far are on the longer term, and they're either, again, the no fee or the lowest APR that we offer, which on a 20 and 25 is that 3.99. Hopefully you guys are aware that the 8.99 is our no fee today on the 20 and 25 year. And actually we added the 15 year, I believe last month, has an 8.99. It's been incredibly popular. Not everyone in our network gets that price, just so you know, almost no one does. And we are anticipating as we go into Q1, and we'll see how the election shakes out. There's also a Fed meeting again in November, but we're expecting to hopefully keep dropping that no fee. The idea is in 2025 to really get the reset complete on where interest rates become very static at kind of where they were 5 years ago. And we know that's very reasonably priced, lower fees. So we're looking forward to that. And we always give you guys our best pricing no matter what. And we always get it to you earlier than the rest of our network. So hopefully there's more coming. The last 3 to 4 weeks, it's actually been higher. Interest rates have been going up again. And I think that's a little bit more of the election scare and trying to figure out what's going to shake out. So I don't think that's a concerning thing. I think it's kind of a blip. And I think after the election and after the Fed meeting, we're going to see things continue to go down. So you'll know when I know. Volume over time. This is just great to see over the year in 2024. We're certainly growing with you guys. Hopefully it's a testament to being able to get you guys better products, lower fees, better underwriting. And so we'll continue to keep putting our best foot forward and keep coming up with innovative products to help you guys sell more and grow together. And my last data point, this just kind of really highlights where we see the credit boxes and how they land. So as you guys see, anything over 700s where we're getting most of the approvals through. This lower end is where you kind of have the troubles with debt to income ratio, people probably having delinquencies on car loans, mortgages, credit cards, things like that. We do get asked a lot on applications over 700, like why would someone fail if debt to income is not important? And typically those are two buckets. It's either someone has a very recent delinquency and it's going to be on a car loan or a mortgage, because those are the big ones that banks flag, or they are using a ton of their revolving available credit. So if someone has $50,000 worth of available credit on their credit cards and they're using 48,000, the banks see that as a huge red flag that this person is headed towards it. It actually brings up their bankruptcy score, which is also very important, a tremendous amount. So when someone's in debt with things that have very, very high APRs, that is a red flag. So the few that you'll see over 700, it's typically going to be something like that. On the lower end, I'd say it's more likely to be related to debt to income. So just some context. All right, we're happy to announce this. I was actually talking to Jonathan last week, and he was like, it'd be really cool if we could put together some kind of a sales contest towards the end of the year. And so this is kind of what we came up with together. It's a short window, so it's 2 months. You know, we have until the 31st of December, and it's also the end of the year in which my budget has been blown out. So we're going to do as much as we possibly can for you guys. But here's kind of what we were thinking. There's 4 tiers here just to get in the door. If you can get 2 approvals with Sungage and this doesn't mean NTP, doesn't mean funding, just get the approval. In those 2 months, you get your foot in the door for a raffle to win a few $500 gift cards. Tier 2, 3+, we will start giving away prizes from 50 to 150 bucks, and we'll actually get you guys a list. You'll be able to pick what you want for a prize. Tier 3, 5+, and then Tier 4, 7+. The 7+, there's some cool stuff in there, you know, $500-$600 coolers, golf bags, AirPods, sun tents, all kinds of stuff. So it's just something we put together quickly, but figured, hey, why not give out some incentives and get some good prizes for Christmas time when when you guys are wrapping this contest up. So I'll send this out to you guys. You can kind of distribute it, but everyone's open to it. We're excited to give you guys some prizes, put some things in your hands, and hopefully it's a little motivation for maybe some of you that have never tried Sungage. Get in there, win some prizes on top of making some commission and selling some deals, right? So that is that. I think that's all I have. So we can open it up to questions if you have them in the chat or whatever.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing all that. I mean, incredible stuff. As you guys can tell, I'm a huge fan of Sungage. I saw a Carhartt hoodie on there. This thing is legit. It's thick. It was built for North Idaho. I'll tell you that. And I'll tell you that as I sip out of my Sungage tumbler, my tumbler.
Appreciate that. Really dropping it.
No, these guys are always so great to us and putting this together. So first of all, thank you for this contest. This is great. Didn't even know that this was happening. So I'm excited, and we'll get the team out there pumping. There really is no competition, you guys. When you compare Sungage financing to any other financing out there, like literally anything out there, it does not compete. I was talking to a buddy of mine at EPC in New York, and he was going for a project, and he was like, yeah, I'll probably go with my no dealer fee. It was Good Leap. He was like, yeah, it's $11.99. You guys, we have our no DF is $8.99. That's massive. Like, people cannot compete with this. So thank you for that. There were a couple questions on here. The first one is, and Salil, maybe if you want to clarify it, it said, I heard from a customer there's an early loan payment fee of $190 charged by Sungage. Is that accurate? First of all, I'm not sure what a early loan payment is. That like paying it off, or?
So can I just a quick clarification. This was for a customer I signed up in early October, and this was like something came out of like a kind of a nasty surprise to me. I was like, okay, there's no fee, no early prepayment penalty. But then he found out in the documents that there was a, like I wrote it down verbatim. I wish we could share the pictures, but he sent me a picture of that, the document section on fees. And there was a section on termination fee, which says that at the time this loan pays off, you will be responsible for a $190 fee to cover UCC and real estate record termination fees and related to administrative fees for processing UCC and real estate record filing. So, and like that kind of brought that deal which we had with the customer back to the kind of negotiation table, and we had to make an adjustment with what we were offering them. So I was like, wow, that's something new. I've never seen that before. So just want to get that clarity.
Jeff, you clarify that, and then I'll give my take on that.
Yeah, so that is accurate, and this one actually came to my desk. I heard about this. Yeah, so there is no prepayment penalty for ending your loan early, but the bank does have to, which is this like termination fee is actually built into every single loan over the course. It's part of the fees and everything. So even at 25 years, you finish making all your payments, you've already paid for it, but the bank does spend money to then lift the UCC so it's not on your home anymore, and they have to update the county records. So that is what that fee is. I actually didn't really know about it because it's always built into the loan pricing. You just never even think about it. So appreciate you pointing that out. And that is something that is true. And I will say if this customer is having a major issue with it and it's really pissing them off, get a hold of me. I'll get them out a gift card or something to cover that fee, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I'll reach out. Thank you.
You bet.
But this is
yeah, and you
basically like if
guys,
they pay,
just really
paid it off.
quick. So
Sorry.
I want to tell you this. If a homeowner has that big of an issue and they're filing and combing through the loan docs and they're like, hey, at the end of my 5 years or 25 years, there's $190 administrative processing fee. And that's the sticking point. Like, then I'm just going to say they don't see the value in the solar. Like, that is such a small, minute. It's not a prepayment penalty. Like, that's so insignificant. Like, that should never be a sticking point. But as you just heard Jeff, man, if it's really that big of a deal, hit him up. But honestly, don't take that to Jeff. You guys can handle that yourselves. Tell your homeowner, yeah, when you pay it, when you're done, if this is really this big of a deal, I'll pay it. I'll cover it personally. Don't put that on Jeff. Just tell him.
Or just go into your adders and put $200 in the homeowner rebate. And then after installation, they get a check for $200 from Powur to cover that 190 in 5, 10, 25 years, whenever.
Yeah. And just, I mean, honestly though, I'll be any homeowner who's tripping on that much, there definitely probably some price war going down and trying to save every little penny. And those are the worst homeowners to have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that this person has a nickel and diming us and wasting our time so much. But you know, every customer is different. So
sure.
I like to think positive. But as Tom said, that think positive and just bring out the best. But sometimes it gets to your nerves, and I'm like, I just wanted to get clarity. But what essentially it is, I think I wanted to get a clarity that this is basically, if they pay off the loan early, that is what or not the loan early, but when they pay off the loan, there will be that fee, right? That is what I understood. Okay.
Yeah, it's not an early thing. It's just once the loan is completed, it's to get the UCC one fixture filing off title and to be done with it. It's an administrative fee. Sungage is not covering that. It's on you. You're paying for it. It's very cheap too. I mean, do you know how much it would cost to do it 25 years from now versus what it is now? They're just putting in the cost. That's pushing paperwork. And I understand. Yeah. Think positive, this and that. But if I come across a homeowner personally, I tell them, you know what? I don't think we're going to be a good fit to work together. You might find somebody else who you want nickel and dime. I value my time and my company, and this is the price. So that's just my tip and my advice, but you don't have to do that. All right. Any other questions here? Someone said, did a Sungage, did you guys make it through bankruptcy? That was Sunlight Financial, guys. That was not Sungage. Sungage is doing extremely well. So don't worry about Sungage.
And he clarified that. Let me ask Jeff. So if a homeowner, for example, files Chapter 13 restructuring, does the Sungage loan get discharged? Does the lien get removed? Does the lien stay in place through the UCC filing, and then it can be collected if the home is sold? So he clarified actually what he did. I thought the same thing, Jared.
Yeah, and so the lien would stay in place for sure during a bankruptcy. It'll get cleared when that house is sold or goes into foreclosure. And then at that point, the loan will be kind of the bank eats it, right? It goes into default at that point, but the bank is certainly going to keep the UCC until there is any resolution, whether it's foreclosure or whatever. They might get nothing out of it, but they're certainly going to play their cards to try and get as much as they can.
Lane asked, the contest is based on approved credit applications, not on projects financed with Sungage. I'm just going to say, no, they got to be, they got to be financed projects with Sungage. You don't just approve them and then go with another lender.
Well, I mean, we're hoping you won't.
Come on.
That,
like, why would they be doing
for this is we're going to see the approvals. That's what I'm going to look at after the 31st. And we're going to go by that. It's the easiest to measure, especially in a short term for a contest.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I just don't know why you would get them approved with Sungage and then go somewhere else. That would be crazy.
I saw
All right.
some-
Yeah. Owen,
I was gonna-
what you got, brother? Good to see you, man.
I was a little
There you
late.
go.
Sorry, I was just trying to sell, and Jeff, you and I were talking about it, the welcome call. Was that already addressed that we can do it through the Powur app?
We haven't talked about it today, but yeah, there's two options. So essentially when we decided to partner with Powur, you guys have your own welcome call structure. And so we allow you guys to do it on our behalf. And there's essentially, from what I understand now, 3 routes, because I've been talking to your team, that this can happen. So one is the Powur app. There's kind of a walkthrough where first, I think it's like 4 screens. Customer sees like, here's the details of your project. They click OK, it goes to the next screen. I understand tax credits, right? That's the easiest way. It's awesome. You can kind of guide them through it, right? The other option is, I guess some lenders will allow, there's an email kind of confirmation. They send out an email, Powur does, with all the details. They have to get a confirmation back. And that is one that our bank will not accept at this point with our current issuing bank. The third alternative would be an actual physical phone call. So someone that doesn't go through the app, they end up getting a phone call from Powur that goes through all the details. So those are the 3 things. The Powur app is certainly by far the easiest way, right? So if you can direct your homeowners to do that, it's perfect, and we accept that. And then in the interim, we know in a couple months we have a new issuing bank. We probably will accept the email as well, but we're also building out kind of our own welcome call walkthrough that is self-service. So it's going to be available when your customer goes into their Sungage homeowner portal, right where they sign their loan documents. There's going to be a quick link that's like self-service welcome call, and all it will do is show them like, here's your monthly payment. Do you understand? And then it gives a little blurb on tax credits, which is really the most important thing on any welcome call. So we're going to kind of solve the problem ourselves anyways. But for the next couple months, it's got to be one of those 2 things that Powur is doing basically on our behalf.
Cool. Someone asked about the amortization schedule. Are you able to provide that?
Yeah,
Or
so
is there
we have
somewhere where we can find it online? Or?
we don't have like a blanket one. It comes out on a loan by loan basis, right? The amortization is different with every amount of money. So your homeowner gets full access to that as soon as they're approved. It's actually in their homeowner portal. There's a bunch of like, you'll see, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it looks very much like our portal that you guys would go into. It has all their loan documents, they can upload their license, all of that. And then it has a bunch of additional documentation that they can access. An amortization table is one of those. We provide all of the tax documents that they're going to need when they go to file their taxes. A bunch of information on, how the loan works. So all of that can be found there. That's the easy answer. In terms of like us having one, we just don't provide one that's generic. We probably could. I can ask, but I'd have to see if it takes some tech work, it'll take some time. If it's something that someone has lying around, they'll send it to me and I can get it off to you guys.
Cool. Yeah, somebody mentioning it'd be great to be able to see that up front for someone to look at. I don't know. I've done hundreds of deals. I've never had to do that. But depending on how you go through your presentation, you might end up in that conversation and, just to have that tool available and then rather than saying, I don't know, I can tell you after the fact. That would be cool. Tom, there's another question in there about the BK. Do you want to address it or?
Yeah, so just a follow-up question, Jeff. So if a homeowner files a BK and the home is sold later after a discharge, will Sungage still have right to receive payment on the sale? Example, hold up the sale by refusing to release the UCC, or is the right to collect fully discharged in the bankruptcy like unsecured debts?
So I guess it kind of depends, right? If it's just like a full sale of the house to another person, it's not a foreclosure. I would think that UCC will still stand, even though depending on sales price and all of that, we are typically a UCC on a solar array is going to be second, third, could be fourth position in terms of liens that are on that house. And people that are having a bankruptcy, there's probably going to be more than one lien, and they're all going to look to be satisfied. It kind of depends on where it comes. On the foreclosure one, typically it never gets there. So that's the short of it. It probably depends on a case by case basis. But for the homeowner that's in bankruptcy, if they discharge the loan, right, so it goes completely into default, Obviously, they own nothing. If typically those scenarios are going to result in a foreclosure, the UCC is not going to be relevant because they'll never get to the second or third UCC filing. They're just going to settle up the major one.
I do have a question about transferring a loan. You know,
Yep.
someone sells the house. You know, we've in solar sales, we're taught to say, hey, you guys sell the home. It's easy. Next homeowner, they qualify, they take over the payment. It's no problem. I unfortunately got caught in a situation with the homeowner. It's really sad. Someone who I know trying to sell their home with it, not you guys, not Sungage, but they refused to allow them to transfer the loan and said it had to be paid off at the sale. And he wasn't able to sell the home. And it was a really tragic situation. I felt freaking bad about it because, and the loan got sold from one bank to another bank. And then those were their stipulations. But can you address that, Jeff? I mean, is that the situation with you guys? Is there any situation where a guy might, someone might try to sell their house and they were told, hey, you could transfer a loan to the homeowner and the bank's like, no, we want you to pay it off?
Certainly could happen. The biggest one would be if someone does not meet our minimum credit criteria. So let's say someone's doing like, it could be, you know, maybe they're doing a loan that's like veteran or something, and they're able to qualify for a mortgage with a 580 as a FICO. Then they want the loan to be transferred to them, but our minimum requirements is 640. So they can't meet that. We don't approve it, can't be transferred. That would be the major one. The other thing I will say, which is important to set expectations, is the interest rate that you have may not be the interest rate that gets transferred to the homeowner. So
Really?
we have thousands, tens of thousands of loans out there with a 0% 25-year APR from when we were selling those a couple years ago. Those do not exist. That person cannot transfer. It has to be something that's transferred that's an existing rate. So that person has probably told their real estate agent, oh, it's a 0% loan. It's free money, right? Like easy peasy. And that's not going to be the case. So I would set realistic expectations that it really does depend on today's rates, not yesterday's rates. So that's important as well. And then we always get asked, is there a fee? And there is a fee associated with transferring. It's basically the same as what would be if you were refinancing your home. You need to lift your UCC1 in order to do that. That same fee applies. So there is a small fee. And the other piece I will tell people is do not call us 2 days before your house is selling because it's not going to happen. Like we need at least 2 weeks. Typically we ask for give us a month just to make sure all the paperwork gets set. It's ready to go for the attorneys. So at closing, everything is buttoned up, signed, and good to go. We had one with Powur where someone called us. It was like maybe 2 or 3 days before closing. And we were like, it's probably not even possible for us to file this paperwork. So give us as much time as you can, but also set the realistic expectations that you might not be getting the same rate.
Sure, good. And so someone's asking transferred with remaining term. Are you able to transfer the remaining term, but just not the remaining rate though?
Correct. It'll always be transferred to the remaining term. They will occasionally entertain one-offs where someone wants to change the term, but typically they're not going to look to change that to a longer term. So if someone has 15 years left, it was a 25-year loan. Now the new homeowner wants to take out a 25-year loan. The bank's not very interested in that, right? There's warranties that could be at play. It's kind of it's a used system, right? So they're willing to do it usually if you're going to shorten the term. So I have 21 years left. I want to make it a 10-year loan. Bank might be really happy to do that. But in terms of like starting a whole new loan, they're not going to be a huge fan. The typical process is take over what's remaining.
And you guys, this can get complicated, you know, when trying to do the transfer, because a lot of times when someone qualifies for a home, the debt to income ratio, right, on a mortgage-backed security, it's hard underwriting, and you have to fall within a few percentage points to qualify. And if you think, hey, this is my monthly payment because it was like 1%, 2% interest, and now that interest rate's going to jump up, they're going to have to qualify on the monthly payment plus the loan of the solar loan. And then they might be running those numbers, and then they're like, oh, by the way, it's a 799, it's not 299. Now that payment goes up $50. That could put them over the threshold. Now they don't qualify for a house. So it does get complicated. You know, don't overpromise and underdeliver, right? The best thing to do is pay it off. You know, if you could pay off the system, You know, now they're getting a fully paid off solar system. You could throw a little bit extra on the house to have it sell for a little bit more. And now they're just paying for it with their mortgage. So great stuff there.
Jeff, could it be a lower rate, you know, coming out of a season with higher rates?
It definitely could
depending.
be. So, you know, when our no fee was 11.49 or whatever,
Right.
if today it's this, it certainly could be better for the customer.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully that's the trend we'll start seeing
Right.
now as we go into 2025. I mean, it was great too when we had, you know, typically when we first started, our rates were, I think our lowest rate was a 4.99 maybe, and then we all of a sudden had 0% loans. So, you know, massive difference there if you can get 4 points off. So yeah, that is possible.
Got it. Thank you.
And then lastly, Lane asks, how can we see a copy of the Sungage loan docs? That's simple, man. Just run an application and fire them off. No, but I think you can go into the Learning Center and, you know, pull up, all of our lenders are back there. You could pull up a document, and then you could also, you can go into your Sungage portal and see it as well.
Yeah, you can also, like if you're having trouble finding it, you can just email me, jeff@sungage.com, and I can send you over just a watermarked copy.
And someone said, we don't get the loan docs when they sign. Yeah, but if you're doing your job right, you should be going over those loan docs with your homeowner together. So with that said, Jeff, thank you, man, for coming on here. Dude, it's no secret how much I love you guys. Love always seeing you guys in person. And you make my job easy, you know, when it comes to selling solar for ownership. So appreciate it. Tom,
Thank you.
Jeff, everybody, we're going to wrap this special election day training. We're going to wrap it up just a few minutes early so you guys can get out there and vote the most important election in my lifetime. So let's get out there. Love you all. And we will see you guys next week.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate it, guys.
Engage.
Bye-bye.
Bye.